Howdy y'all, Flufayy here. Not too long ago, Hypixel released an update to Skywars. Overall, I liked the update, didn't really hate any of the additions, though I'd say nothing super substantial was added to the game either. So I'm gonna be that guy today and talk about things I'd like to see added to Hypixel Skywars. Some of these will be minor changes, some a bit bigger, but let's just get into it. Number 1, add new laboratory modes. Hypixel used to have quite a few laboratory modes a while back, and now Lucky Block is the only one that's still around. There were some real stinkers like Kill by Color back then, but Rush and TNT Madness weren't that bad and stuck around longer than the rest of them. My point is that the idea of fun, alternative ways to play Skywars is a good one, and there hasn't even been an attempt of one in years. Maybe do a Skywars spin on one of the Bed Wars Dream modes. For instance, Castle mode, where there's 2 large teams fighting on a massive Skywars map. Just don't require too many players or it'll die like Mega in no time. Regardless of what it is though, just something would be nice. Number 2, address concerns with matchmaking. I'm not gonna act like I know what's best on what needs to be done regarding skill-based matchmaking, but I do know that a lot of the Skywars scene is not a fan of it. I think it's worth looking into and changing some things, just for the sake of pleasing them, honestly. I don't know if it'll have a major impact, since most of the Skywars community these days seems pretty experienced anyway, but it would be nice to see some things tweaked and changed to, figure out if it would make the game more fun for the players. Number 3, buff Marksmanship. Since you now only have 6 slots for perks nowadays, there are certain perks that there is no reason to ever equip. One of those is Marksmanship. I think in all my several years of playing Skywars, Marksmanship has been the reason I won maybe 2 or 3 times. Even if you use a bow a lot, getting multiple kills with one to get a slight buff to your bow just isn't worth going for. Especially in Insane mode where power 5s are just handed to you at the middle. It's decent when it activates, but that pretty much only happens by accident, and there's no reason to equip it over several other more consistent perks. So buff it, there's a couple ways to do that. Maybe make them improve after you deal a certain amount of damage, or maybe like the Apprentice bow in UHC, where as the game progresses, your bows get stronger, like an extra power level each refill, I don't know. Just do something to make it not worthless. Number 4, buff speed boost. Another perk that has no use now with the limit of perks is Speed Boost. Though honestly, you could argue that one has never contributed to a single player's win ever. Haste at the start of a game is useless. No one really benefits from this. Even players that mine the ores get such a minor time save from having haste at the start of the game. Honestly, this one might be beyond saving without completely overhauling the entire perk. And at that point, it's not even really the Speed Boost perk anymore. Just don't give players actual speed. That could end up being busted for rushers. Number 5, make Nourishment a global perk. Okay, this is a weird one, but with certain perks now being global and active for everyone, I'd like to see Nourishment get that treatment. It's one of those quality of life perks that you usually wouldn't have on, but it does have an impact on the game because it makes eating usually unnecessary. A lot of players just don't carry the steak from the islands, and while yeah, that's on us if we need food, I don't think it hurts anyone to have this as available to everyone. Like how Ender Mastery is now applicable to everyone, and that's a pretty cool quality of life thing. I think a lot of this just comes from years of playing with it on and then having trouble adjusting when the perk limit was added. Number 6, give the Fisherman Kit water to fish in. Why is this not something in the game? In order to use the Fisherman Kit to fish, you need to get 2 water buckets, neither of which are guaranteed in the kit or by your spawn island's loot. By the time I get enough water to fish in, there's not going to be enough time to make use of it. I covered fishing in Skywars a while back in another video, and I had to get a teammate to give me water by using the salmon kit. Now this worked, and I actually got some pretty cool stuff out of fishing, but it is such a hit or miss strategy dependent on crazy luck that I don't see a reason to not let fishermen fish. That should be the number 1 thing the kit is for, but instead its best use is a dumb knockback strategy, which the baseball player kit does better anyway. Going back to the topic of the salmon kit though, number 7, address salmoning. Now I haven't really seen this much in recent months, so maybe the problem's gotten better, but using the salmon kit to flood the entire map and run around it with depth strider boots is obnoxious to play against. And just about everyone using the strategy knows it too. I don't know if you should get rid of the kit entirely or just nerf it, but either of those would help fix the problem. Okay, I wrote this script like a week ago, and then I come back from vacation and I got salmoned on immediately. You know who you are and you know what you did. Ban salmon. Goodbye. Number 8, new middle loot. The Skywars middle loot has basically been the same since the Stone Age, and honestly, I can't think of a single substantial change done to it since the removal of the Knockback 10 slime ball. And that, by the way, is something that only sadists want re-added, and they want to watch people suffer. I enjoy suffering, but even I'm not so bad that I don't want the slime ball back. But I don't really have anything all that specific for this one. Maybe another cool spawn egg or interesting sword that has pros and cons to using it compared to the other ones. Regardless, it's been the same forever, and while I understand that if it isn't broke, you shouldn't fix it, some spice to the middle loot could be cool. Number 9. Make Angel's Descent not count towards your perk slots. Maybe this is a controversial take, but I don't like that it takes so much effort to get each of the Angel's Descent rewards, but because of the perk limit, most of them end up being useless to you. I'm not super far in Angel's Descent, but I do have Hide and Seek, for example. I'd never equip that, but it's a nice quality of life reward for players that have spent a lot of time playing Skywars. It's also in no way overpowered or super unfair. None of the Angel's Descent rewards are. So if just about every perk you want equipped is better than the ones you can get through Angel's Descent, what's the point of going for those? I feel like part of the whole point of the whole Angel's Descent process is to feel like you're getting more powerful as you progress, even if they are minor changes. I don't really feel that way with how it is now. I don't feel like I earn anything when I progress. Sure, there's cosmetics, but that's the bare minimum, let's be honest here. I haven't even changed those in 5 years. And finally, number 10, listen to the player base. This isn't really an ad, I'd just like to say that it sometimes feels like there's a disconnect between Hypixel staff and the people playing Skywars. I don't think the community and the staff team really see eye to eye on what to do with Skywars. And fans of the game complain about things like mining for several months before something actually happened. They've still done nothing regarding matchmaking, and the Skywars community had to practically beg for an update for several months last year before it actually happened. Then when the update did come out, a lot of people didn't like it and thought it made the game actively worse. So the point is, sometimes it feels like Hypixel is out of touch with the people playing their games. We can point the finger at a ton of things here, but regardless, that's just how it feels. A good relationship between Skywars players and Hypixel staff would go a long way in making Skywars a better game. That's all I really have to say for today. If you want to support me, you know how. This is a little different for me, so hope you enjoyed it anyway. But for now, I'm gonna catch you guys later. I got some cool stuff coming up, so stay tuned for that. Peace out, everybody.